the Constitution of India. Okay. So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, you know, he was the first Prime Minister of India. Okay. And according to him, the Constitution goals were articulated in a resolution, and it was proposed by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and then finally ratified by the Legislative Council on 22nd January 1947. Okay. So the resolutions of this Legislative Council, central tenets were as follows, like India should be declared an independent, sovereign republic by resolve. So they declared India as an independent sovereign. And when we will see the preamble of Indian Constitution, you will find this is the first term used for the preamble. So just to create a democratic community with equitable self-government. Hello? Yes, hello, Abhishek. Objective of our Indian Constitution was to create a democratic community with equitable self-government to all its component members. So the people give the union government and the government of constituent elements all of their power and authority, and then to ensure and safeguard the safety of all Indians. Moral, fiscal, and political justice are all important. So the one of the specialty objective of the Constitution is equality of position, opportunity, and legal standing for all of its citizens. Then the freedom of thinking, speech, religion, faith, worship, affiliation, and action, as well as the minority groups in underdeveloped and rural regions and the impoverished and perhaps other backward groups have proper protection. So the citizen talks about the equality to all. And the most important thing, maintaining the nation's territorial sovereignty and right of self-determination on ground. On ground, sea and air under the equity and law of civilized countries. So, as I told, our constitution talks about the different acts, laws, rules, and regulations. So, one of the objectives of the Indian Constitution is to ensure India's legitimate and respected position in the globe. And it also assists in the advancement of the world peace and humanity well-being. So these goals are all enshrined in the Constitution preamble. So when we discuss the preamble, you can see all these things. So regarding the features. We will discuss the features of the Indian Constitution. So let's talk about the features of the Indian Constitution. So the Constitution of India became effective on which date? 26th January 1950. And as I told earlier, that B.R. Ambedkar, he was the chairman of drafting committee. And the Constitution lays down the fundamental political code, structure, procedure, powers, and duties of the government institutions. Also, it sets out fundamental rights, directive principles, and the duties of the citizen. So it is the supreme law of India. Okay. So this is the supreme law of India. And I have already told there are more than 1,45,000 words. And each of the words are important and peculiar in nature. So try to understand all the words. So now when we talk about the features, the Constitution of India was created by the Constituent Assembly, not by the Parliament of India. So always remember, usually all the laws, acts are created by the Parliament, but the Constitution was created by the Constituent Assembly. Okay. And it was adopted by its people with a declaration in its preamble. So the Parliament of India cannot override the Indian Constitution. So either it is the Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, House of Commons, or House of State, or the different states, chief minister, president, each and every person, citizen of India, is bound to follow the laws enacted in the Indian Constitution. So, okay. So, one, there are 8 different features. So, first of all, I've already told it is the lengthiest constitution of the world. So, it is the lengthiest and the longest constitution in the world. It has 395 articles and 12 schedules. And there are also about 90 articles which have been added since 1951. And there have been more than 100 amendments. In fact, 104 amendments are there. So, but the articles are not separately added, but as a part of an existing article. So these are not completely new. These are associated with any of the article. So the total number of articles remain the same. Okay. So there are 395 articles. Okay. And I've also told you that the second feature is, so the features have been drawn from the different sources. Okay. So when the Constituent Assembly was formulating our constitution, so the basic structure of the federal scheme, judiciary, governors, emergency power, public service commissions, administrative details, etc. So these are the different from the Government of India Act 1935. These were all decided earlier in the Government of India Act 1935. And then by 26 January 1950, different fundamental rights were also added. And these were taken from American Constitution. Okay, so always remember that the fundamental right we see in our preamble or in our constitution, these have been taken from the American Constitution. And the directive principles, this has been taken from Irish Constitution. And the cabinet form of government is from the British Constitution. So these are the three important inputs taken from the different constitution, different countries. And there are some more provisions which have been taken from Constitution of Canada, Australia, Germany, USSR, and France. So it is the mixture of the features taken from all these countries: America, Ireland, British, Canada, Australia, Germany, USSR, and France. Okay. So the features such as a strong center, all India services. So from UPSC, they appoint the IAS, Indian Administrative Services, and they can be distributed among different states, and the states have to follow them. So all India services common to center as well as the state, and emergency provisions that can modify the constitution into a unitary one. So in 1977, you might remember Indira Gandhi, first time she imposed emergency all over pan India. So it was applicable to the whole India. So the appointment of governors by the president on the advice of the center, we'll discuss it later on. So Article 1 of the Indian Constitution clearly mentions that India is a union of states. Therefore, the Constitution makes a federal system and with unitary features. Federal system with unitary features. So this is the third important feature of our constitution. Then comes parliamentary form of government. So this is the fourth feature. The Indian constitution choose the parliamentary form of government. And in a parliamentary form of government, executive is the part of legislature, and there is collective responsibility of council of ministers to the legislature. So there is a parliament. So in the union level, different members are elected as a member of parliament. And among those members, it is the the leader of the largest party is elected is appointed as a prime minister. And then he forms a council of ministers. And the council of ministers is responsible to the parliament or the legislature. So, as there exists majority party rule, and the prime minister is the leader of the country, and the chief minister in the same manner is the leader in the state. So this is parliamentary form of government. Parliament and state legislature. Then comes parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So the Indian Constitution has a proper balance between parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. So the Supreme Court has the power of judicial review. Why different articles? Article 13, Article 32, and Article 136. This all discusses about the judicial review power of the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court can cancel any parliamentary law as unconstitutional. On the other hand, the parliament has the authority to make laws and also amend the major portion of the constitution. Then there are three more features like independent and integrated judicial system, directive principles, and rigidity and flexibility. So when we talk about the independent and integrated judicial system, so as per the Indian Constitution, a single system of judiciary prevails in India. So the Supreme Court, it is at the top. And the high courts, these are at the state level. And then for the common people, day by day, problem solution, there are district courts and subordinate courts, which are below the high court and are subject to supervision of the high courts. Then comes directive principles. So these are the state policies in part 4 of the Constitution. And this intends to make India a welfare state. So the directive principles are not enforceable by the court for their violation. However, it is moral obligation of the state to apply these principles in making laws. So finally, the last feature is it is rigid but as well as flexible also. So this is a combination or the blend of rigidity and flexibility. So as per Article 368, some provisions can be amended by a special majority of parliament. Special majority means 2/3 majority of the members of each house, and they must be present and they must vote. And the majority, which is more than 50% of the total members of each house, then it can be amended. And so it is rigid as well as the flexible also. So these all are the different features of our Indian constitutions. So okay, I think just for today enough. Huh? Now I can see some more people have joined. Downloading attendance. ओके सो हमारे एक फैकल्टी बतला रही हैं कि आप वीडियो ऑन करके बता दें कि आप छत में ले रहे हैं, है ना। हमारा डिपार्टमेंट पूरा स्मोकी है, सो आप देख लो। मैं भी छत में हूँ। Am I visible? देख सकते हो मैं?
नो सर।
हाँ, तो अभी मैं छत से क्लास ले रहा हूँ। पूरा डिपार्टमेंट स्मोकी है, सैनिटाइजर से। एंड मीटिंग चलो।